Hi, this is the Rusted Willow, and my name is Tammy. Today we are going to be decorating some Christmas lanterns. I have a few ideas for you, and let's get started. Right into DIY number 1. So the first lantern you might recognize from my haul video. I will link it below. It was left on my doorstep by my sister, along with these Dollar Tree trees. Dollar Tree tree, Dollar Tree trees. Say that 5 times fast. Anyway, I am going to just jazz them up with a little bit of ribbon and some decorative trim. So on the first tree, I use the red and black checkered ribbon. I'm going to use my string of pit berries and just wrap it around the tree from the top to the bottom. And I think it adds a little bit of color. It's super cute. It makes it more high-end looking and not just a regular little white tree that costs $1 that you put in your lantern. So you want to make these look high-end. Adding a little bit of special touches does that. So you want to just secure that with a little bit of hot glue, and you can decorate these trees however you like. You can use ribbon, jute twine. You could cut little berries and glue them on. Whatever you decide to do will add that special little touch of jazzing up and make them look so high-end. People will ask, where did you get those trees? And you're gonna say, oh, at a boutique. You're not gonna say Dollar Tree. And you're gonna say, I probably bought the last one. So as you see, I stacked up the wood rounds, and those wood rounds I got from Amazon. And this sheet moss is also from Dollar Tree. I'm just using up some scraps. And I thought about using the using up the scraps just to add a little bit of greenery under the trees, because you know, grass usually grows under trees. So it's my rendition of some grass, and I just add it to the wood rounds, cut the edges round, and I think it adds a little bit of texture. It just adds another little element to my little scenery. On the second Dollar Tree, I just add some jute twine. I wrap it around the bottom a few times until I'm satisfied with it, and then I wrap it all the way to the top, adding just a touch of hot glue just to keep it in place. That way, if I want to take the jute twine off, I can, and it's not going to ruin my tree. So I tie a sweet little bow, just a shoestring bow, and I add it to the bottom of the tree. You can style these lanterns in many, many different ways. You're only limited to your imagination and creativity. So don't be afraid to add in things that you like. If you are a coastal person, add in some seashells. If you are a boho person, add in some pom-poms. And I'm cleaning it up with my lighter because it was pretty fuzzy. This is the Dollar Tree jute twine, so as you know, if you use it, it's pretty fuzzy, and I just think that it looks cleaner when I feel like it looks higher quality once it's cleaned up. So there are my 2 little trees, and I vary them in height. I put one on one wood round and the other one on 2 wood rounds so that they're at different height. I'm also going to use a bottle brush tree in this little scenery just to kind of break up the different trees. I want to thank you so much for stopping by today and supporting my channel. If you would please subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and share with all your friends. Let me know down below in the comments which project you like best today. I would really appreciate it. And let's get back to it. Here I am throwing in some Christmas balls. Okay, I'm not throwing them in. Well, I might be. Putting in some Christmas little ornaments, and you can get these at Dollar Tree. These are what I've had on hand for the last few years. Mine are gold. They're different colors of gold, some silvery, some matte, some shiny, and I just love them. They're so pretty, and they look gorgeous inside this lantern. One little tip I wanted to add is cut off your little hangers. All these little ornaments had gold string hangers. Cut those off so that, or place them in there to where you don't see them, because that will add to the more finished high-end look. You don't want it to look like you just threw some stuff in your lantern. It was cute without the floral, but I decided I wanted a little bit of extra. Sometimes I'm a little extra, for real. So I like things a little over the top and big and glam. So I am adding some greenery. That greenery was from Walmart years ago. It's just a greenery pick. I don't know if they still have it. I have several in my stash, which I will be using in another DIY that you will see. The other picks are from Dollar Tree, and I just cut them apart so that I can arrange them how I want them, and they will lay perfectly on top. So I just use my little makeup applicator to hold down the little pieces of the pick so I don't burn my fingers, because I already had burned them a couple of times. So be careful with your hot glue guns, ladies. And I just kind of place things around to see how I want it. And the other greenery, the eucalyptus glittery greenery, oh my gosh, say that 5 times fast. Eucalyptus glittery greenery came from Joann's. It was buy one get 2 free. They only had one. I hope to make it to another Joann's store to find another one, because it is so beautiful and it adds that sparkle and shine and that glam look that you want. So this also will make it look more high-end. You want to add some sparkle in there for the glam. And since I have some gold glittery balls inside, I definitely wanted to add some glam on the outside. So here I am making my bow. Now I kind of figure out how big I want my bow to be. Now I don't want this bow to be gigantic, so I just kind of eyeball it. I rarely measure, but for this bow, I just turned it over on top of itself several times until I had like 3 or 4 loops on each side. And then I tied it off with some jute string, and you saw me cutting little slits in it. That just helps you move it around. You just have to be really careful when you're using smaller ribbon. And this ribbon actually came from Walmart. I believe it was $1.48. It was super inexpensive. So I bought different widths of kind of the same pattern, the red and black, because I want to do red and black this year on my tree and kind of incorporate the little red truck a little with my outdoor decor. So I used a different width for the bottom bow, and then I'm going to put the smaller bow on the inside of the bigger bow. Now I use just a tiny bit of hot glue when I tie the jute off, just to hold the knot in place so it doesn't come apart. And then I fluff, and then I put them together. You can never fluff your bow enough. I feel like you can fluff, and then you need to fluff again. So keep fluffing that bow until you're satisfied, and then I just glue it in place. I did dovetail my ends. You want to do that to finish them off. And I put down the bigger bow first. I put down the little bow second, and it doesn't have to be perfect. It can go any direction. Just stick it in there. Don't overthink it, ladies. Just stick it in there. And honestly, me being a perfectionist, I have a really hard time crafting. It's hard for me because I feel like everything has to be perfect, but I realize that it's handmade, it's crafting. You got to go with it. It's not going to be perfect. I have a hard time just going with it. So anyway, I put in the pine cones, and there you have it. The greenery is done. And I think it turned out absolutely gorgeous. That looks so high-end. I love how it turned out. It could not have turned out any better. And there it is next to my TV with the trees on. Those trees are so pretty at night. And there it is next to another project coming up. So I love how this turned out. It was so gorgeous. I just don't even have words. So if you like this project, give me a thumbs up. I would appreciate it. DIY number 2. So I don't know what happened to the footage of me styling the inside of this lantern, but this is a giant lantern. It is 36 inches tall. I won it last year at a company Christmas party, and I just unboxed it this year, and it is absolutely gorgeous. It came from Sam's. I bet it was $100 or more. I don't know, but it is huge. It is gorgeous, and you will see I'm just making my bow, and I turn it over on itself like I did the last one. But here's a more close-up look of how I put my bows together. Now, I use cable ties instead of the chenille stems. So for this lantern, since it's so large, you could do 1,000 things with it. And let's talk about this lantern for a minute. This comes with a shelf. The candles sit on top of the shelf, and then you can style it underneath with pine cones and balls. If you wanted to style it a different way, you don't have to use the pine cones. Obviously, I like the farmhouse look, so I'm using the pine cones because it's woodsy and farmhouse, and that's my style. And here I am kind of measuring it because I do want to vary the sizes on this one. As I said, I use cable ties instead of chenille stems. I just think that they hold better and you can get them tighter so that you can really pull and twist and maneuver your bows around when you're fluffing. And I used 2 different cable ties when I could have just put these together. The red truck ribbon came from Sam's, which is $6.98 for a 50-foot roll, which is a great deal. So get to Sam's and get you some fantastic high quality ribbon. $6.98. They still have a ton of it. I was just there the other day and I almost bought some more ribbon, but I bought 5 rolls to begin with, so I'm going to use what I have on hand. Oh, the other ribbon came from Hobby Lobby, and it is not very good quality. It's pretty thin. It doesn't want to hold its shape. It's very not thick. I don't know how to explain it, but it just doesn't want to hold its shape. It's very flimsy. There you go. That's the word I was looking for. Let's talk about this lantern. One thing I do recommend is put remote control lights in there. Do not put the lights that you have to get in there, turn over, turn on, turn off. Put remote control lights in there. It will make your life so much easier. So I styled it with the pine cones that the lantern came with. I styled it with some more Christmas balls that I already had on hand that I used in the other lantern. Style it up to your style. So here I'm just making some tails, and I'll be using that ribbon up because it's too thin. It's too flimsy, and I like ribbon to hold its shape. I'm just fluffing the bows. I'm putting them together with another cable tie, which I could have just put them all in one cable tie. It goes together just fine. So I've used 3 cable ties so far, and I'm gonna use a 4th. So as you can see, I'm trying to twist these tails to try to make them, give them a little bit of something else, some oomph, jazzing them up, and they don't want to twist. It is a wired ribbon, but it just does not want to twist. I decided, okay, I'm just gonna fluff. So I start fluffing this ribbon, and I'm working at it, and I'm cutting the tails. I decide, okay, I'm gonna add some of that wired jute. Now, this wired jute was a great idea. However, I don't know what it's good for. I mean, when I untied it, the ends started to unravel. So I had to glue the ends. I had to mess with the ends. I'm trying to make like a flower, like you would the regular jute twine. It is just a mess. I spend a lot of time trying to get the jute twine back on the wire, and I have several rolls of it, but I probably won't be using it, honestly. I don't know what I would use it for. I have to wrap the jute back around the wire, glue it, and fold it over and try to get it to stay on there. It's just a mess. I'm not impressed with it at all. I spent a lot of time trying to make a flower or a bow out of it, and it just did not work out. Not work out at all. Another little tip, if you didn't want to put pine cones in there, you could put seashells in the bottom. You could put those large mosaic decorative balls. They're just gorgeous. That will help you get the look you want. I take my paintbrush and I use the bottom of it to make little curly cues, and I'm still working with it. As you can see, I'm trying to wrap the jute back around the wire. It keeps coming off. Cut it off. I'm trying to manipulate it. Another little tip, you could use large ornaments that you're not going to use on your tree. Use those extra large ornaments in there. I think this would be super cute styled with some rusty bells. I have giant rusty bells that I could put in there. That is also farmhouse. I do not like how it looks, so it's a total fail. I cut it apart, not happy with it at all, but I used the curly cues because I spent so much time trying to get that jute stuck to the wire. So I went back with my regular jute string, made a little jute bow, tied it in the center with some more jute in a knot, and I stick it in the center of this bow. And it turns out super cute in the end. But it was a lot of work working with that wired jute. I don't know how you guys feel. Let me know in the comments below if you've used it. Have you bought it? What do you think about it? What did you use it on? Because other than wrapping it around something and gluing it in place, I just don't know what I would use it on. So there's the bow. It turned out super cute in the end. So there I'm adding another cable tie to attach it to the lantern. And let's talk about this lantern for a minute. Another little tip. I think this would be super cute with some of those mossy balls or the grapevine balls, boho balls that are wrapped in twine and are fuzzy. They have rope, and they have nautical balls that are done up in seashells or just a mosaic coral or something super pretty. It did come with that large wood Merry Christmas sign. I set it beside my fireplace and it is absolutely gorgeous. Another little tip, use what you have on hand, people. Do not go out and buy special stuff unless it's after Christmas on super sale, because that's what I do. If you have a lantern, post it over there on my Facebook page. I would love to see it. Or tag me in Instagram. I want to thank everyone for stopping by. Have a blessed day. Don't forget to make your passion a priority because life is short, y'all.